When you stop talking, a predator starts working. Here is the 3-second silence they cannot handle. Not because silence is magic, because silence removes the thing they were trying to pull out of you: your explanation, your apology, your nervous laugh, your need to make the moment comfortable again. A healthy person might be confused by a pause, but they won't feel threatened by it. They might ask if you're okay, or simply wait for you to continue. But a controlling person views your silence as a loss of leverage. If you rush to explain, they learn you can be pressured. If you soften your no, they learn your boundary is negotiable. If you chase their approval, they learn silence controls you. That is why the 3-second silence matters. It is not awkwardness, it is a diagnostic. For 3 seconds, you stop performing. And their next reaction becomes data. This isn't about clinical diagnosis, it's about behavioral intent. You aren't looking for a label, you're looking for whether this person respects your space or whether they feel entitled to your performance. And once you understand that, you stop seeing silence as rude. You start seeing it as a mirror. Because the pause does not create the predator. It reveals what they do when you stop feeding the interaction. Some people adjust, some respect the boundary. But the dangerous ones escalate. They punish the pause. And today, you are going to learn the 3 reactions that reveal when silence has exposed someone who was never trying to understand you. They were testing how easy you are to control. The first reaction arrives fast, sometimes within seconds. You pause. You hold the silence. You do not rush to fill it. And instead of waiting, instead of asking a genuine question, they punish you for it. Why are you being weird? You're so sensitive. I was just asking. Wow, okay. Attitude. You said nothing. And somehow, you are now the problem. That is not a coincidence. That is a pattern. Because what they are responding to is not your silence. They are responding to the loss of something they expected to receive. Your explanation. Your softening. Your performance of comfort. The moment you stopped providing it, the pressure arrived. And the mistake most people make is immediate. They explain, they apologize, they bend over backwards to accommodate a reaction they did not cause. The moment that sentence starts, the test is over. The manipulator has confirmed that pressure works, that guilt works. The shield is not a comeback. It is a single, calm, neutral repeat. They say, "Why are you being weird?" You say, "You're asking why I paused," then you stop. You do not defend it. You do not explain it. You simply name what happened and let the silence return. Because their anger is not about your silence. It is about their loss of leverage. A person who genuinely wanted to understand you would not frame your pause as a character flaw. The fact that they did tells you something. Not about your silence. About their expectation. You were supposed to perform. You didn't. And the punishment was immediate. That is data. When punishment does not move you, they pivot. The questions come faster. The emotional hooks arrive in sequence. So, are you going to answer me or not? Why can't you just be honest? What are you hiding? After everything I've done for you? Each question is designed to do one thing. Get you moving again. Get you back to filling the silence with material they can use. This is where they start collecting weaknesses. Because every rushed answer you give is more material for them to twist later. Every clarification becomes a contradiction they can quote. Every attempt to prove you are not rude, not ungrateful, becomes evidence they can reframe. You are not clearing your name. You are handing them a file. The mistake is trying to answer everything, trying to prove you are a good person in real time. With a controlling person, it is not honesty they are after. It is movement, and every answer you give confirms that pressure is the correct tool to use on you. The shield is one line, delivered once. I'm not going to explain this more than once. Or simply, that doesn't work for me. Then pause again. Don't complain. Don't explain. State the boundary once and let the silence return. Their next move will tell you everything you need to know. But the most dangerous reaction is not anger. It is what happens when they stop trying to control the conversation and start trying to control your perception of reality. That is the mask slip. You held the silence, you gave the one-line boundary, you did not chase their approval, and something changes in them. Not loudly, not dramatically, a smirk, a cold stare, a sudden drop in warmth, or the opposite, a mocking calm. Fine, whatever, said in a tone designed to make you feel like you have done something unforgivable. This is the cold shift. The cold shift is that flash of contempt that appears the moment they realize their charm is not moving you. It is the look of someone who has stopped trying to persuade you and has started trying to devalue you, and the mistake that pulls most people back in is trying to repair the mood. Are you mad at me? Can we just go back to normal? The moment you chase the warmth, you confirm that the cold shift works, and they will use it again, more deliberately next time. Their problem was never the topic. Their problem was that you stopped performing. The cold shift is not an emotional response. It is a recalibration. Do not repair the mood. Observe the reaction. Let it be visible. Let it be data. Because what you are watching is not a person who is hurt. You are watching a person whose strategy has stopped working. That cold, contemptuous, suddenly distant face is the clearest signal you will receive. That is not who they became when you held silence. That is who they were before the charm was necessary. Once you have seen the cold shift, the diagnostic is complete. You do not need more proof. You do not need to give them one more chance. The final move is not a confrontation, it is an exit. This conversation is no longer useful, said calmly, said once. Not as an insult, as a statement of fact. The conversation stopped being useful the moment it became a test of whether pressure could override your boundary. You are not ending it in anger. You are ending it because you already have the information you needed. The silence was never about making them uncomfortable. It was about removing the performance they were counting on, your explanation, your apology, your need to be understood by someone who was never trying to understand you. The moment you stop explaining is the moment you start winning. Not because you overpowered them, because you stopped being readable. You stopped handing them a map of where your boundary cracks. Silence isn't rude, it's data. And for 3 seconds, you gave them nothing to work with. What they did next told you everything. If you want to understand what they were testing before the silence ever happened, the moment they first scanned you for compliance, for guilt, for the need to keep the peace, watch the next video on the first test psychopaths use before they target you.